Oh my God! Did you hear that?
I did.
Oh, it's the carpet, man. Guys, we just came to Corsair. Welcome to our CES 2020 tour. I am Dmitry, and I will not forget our sponsors this time. Huge thanks to Fantex, Thermaltake, Be Quiet, and Razer for making our CES 20 trip possible. All right, so the first thing we're going to check out here at Corsair is something that Corsair calls Concept Orion. Damn it, the Oreo cookie right here, Concept Orion. So in front of me here is a Corsair 465X enclosure with, as you can see, this beautiful light show. These are Canucks LEDs that have been installed here, and this is just a little showcase to see what is going to be possible in the future. So if you guys recall, Corsair released Canucks LEDs, and these are really tiny LEDs that are super bright. They have extremely high density of the LEDs, and each individual Canucks LED is addressable. It can be controlled through the software, and they have applied it on a film that goes on top of this tempered glass. And since it has this beautiful illumination, it shines in a 360-degree view. So not only is it shining towards you so you can see them, but it's also shining inside the case. So it actually does have this beautiful illumination on the inside as well. What they're showcasing here is 150 LEDs that are applied in total. This is something that actually will be rolling out in 2020. Really excited to see how Corsair does the implementation that is retail and not just in this concept format, because you can do all types of cool things in terms of lighting effects through IQ, of course. So everything will be connected, and you can customize lighting not just on the interior of the case using fans and LED strips, but this is a really interesting and unique way to customize the actual exterior. Wow, okay, that's beautiful. We will get to the new air cooler from Corsair as Eber is preparing some sexy B-roll.
What are you doing?
I want to first talk to you guys about the new K95 Platinum XT keyboard. When we first arrived here, I was like, no, I don't really want to cover it, but there are actually a few important differences that come with the new Platinum XT. So you guys know Corsair owns Elgato, and what they've done with the XT keyboard is actually integrate Elgato functionality onto the G keys. They do come with extra set of keycaps that they call the S keys that are blue. Therefore, if you do reprogram those G keys to something else that you do on the Stream Deck, therefore you have that visual indicator on the actual keyboard as well. This is the first time Corsair is rolling out black PBT keycaps. They have had white PBT keycaps on their previous models. They are a little bit more coarse. I'm not a huge fan of the actual font. Like there's some inconsistencies in the thickness of like certain letters. The price is the same, $199 as the original K95 Platinum. And this whole backwards compatibility is a good thing, because if you own the original K95 Platinum, you still will be able to utilize the G keys for Stream Deck in case you use that functionality. It still comes with a palm rest, attaches to the bottom, but the main difference are actually the switches. So they're still using MX Cherry, but MX Cherry has gone through a different manufacturing process with a new facility in Germany. So instead of having our traditional 50 million keystrokes, the new materials and the new manufacturing process gives us double that. So 100 million keystrokes on MX Cherry red, brown, and speed switches. And this is the first time they're actually incorporating blue switches on such a high-end keyboard, but the new process does not apply here. Still 50 million keystrokes, and I find it really odd that people still want blue switches on something like it, but whatever. Stream Deck functionality on the G keys, $199. Not bad at all. And the last piece of the puzzle is the actual Stream Deck software. So in the software itself, you have the keyboard indicator. You can just drag and drop certain functionalities on it with an OSD on-screen display to give you a little visual to see what each of those S keys does.
So guys, I actually stopped by something really cool. Now, if you recall, in 2011, Corsair launched their very first air cooler, and it was called the A50. Now it's currently unavailable, and they've been out of the air cooler game for a really long time, but they're back in 2020, kicking things off with the A500. Now this air cooler is actually designed to compete against the Noctua DH15 or the D15, as well as the Be Quiet Dark Pro series, the beefier coolers that are available in the market right now, and it's priced at $99. Okay, good, that's good. Good. Now one of the interesting things about this cooler is that Corsair actually did an anti-Corsair move by not implementing any shape or form of RGB lighting, which is actually pretty cool, because this is just a standalone straight up air cooler with no lighting cables or anything that you have to worry about. It's simply a simple installation, plug in your fan headers or your fan cables, and you're good to go. Now in terms of compatibility, the A500 supports both Intel and AIM4 platforms. Unfortunately, no Threadripper support, so if you are looking for a Corsair cooler, you might as well just get an air cooler or an all-in-one liquid cooler for Threadripper solutions. TDP is rated for 250 watts, which is kind of odd because Threadripper CPUs are well under that range, so yeah,
What's
Google
up?
Assistant. What are you doing here? All right, so check this out. This is the most interesting thing about the A500, and it's the whole installation process. Now, every single time when I'm working with either a Noctua cooler or a Be Quiet cooler, I end up cutting my fingers just because when I'm installing fans on both sides, the fins just in contact with my skin, I end up like with a lot of cuts, which definitely is frustrating. So what Corsair did is they have actually implemented something called a slide-in fan mount mechanism. So essentially, you can just use a slide-in type and slide those two fans easily, and each fan brackets do come with 12-step increments. So what happens is if you have a memory module that's slightly higher, you could use these fan brackets to offset, and that way it'll be easily compatible with, say, I don't know, if it's a G.Skill memory kit or a Corsair Dominator memory kit. Now the included fans are the standard ML120 maglev fans. They're not 140 millimeters, which is an interesting choice because that makes sense because the fan bracket does take a lot of space, which is why they had to accommodate a 120 millimeter fan compared to what Noctua does with the D15 that offers 140 millimeter fan configurations. You could also swap these fans with your fans of choice, and yeah, it just uses a standard screw-in mechanism, just like that. So the included backplate is made out of steel with rubber padding. Once you have the backplate on, you just have to install the retention brackets. It's very similar to what you could do with a Noctua cooler. And what happens is if you want to install or secure those two retention brackets, you just remove this top front mesh design that's completely made out of an aluminum. Corsair also does include a screwdriver. So if you want a Corsair screwdriver, this is a great way to get your hands on one. So overall, installation seems very straightforward. Really good job, Corsair. Now out of the box, Corsair does apply a pre-thermal solution on the base, and they also include a high-performance XT M50 thermal compound. Now let's quickly talk about the heat pipe configuration. Corsair decided to stick with 4 on each side, so 6 millimeters on the outside, 8 millimeters on the inside, and they did this to make it a lot more efficient when it comes to cooling. Now from what I've been told, performance is actually just on par with what you get with Noctua coolers as well as Be Quiet coolers, so I'm really curious to test out the performance of this cooler, the A500 from Corsair in specific. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. That's it. So the included backplate is
All right, so that is all from Corsair. Thanks so much for watching. Do you guys want us to review that keyboard? I know Ebo is excited about it. We'll definitely be reviewing that cooler. It looks pretty awesome, although it's quite beefy. But thanks so much for watching. Make sure to check out other CS content. We'll see you guys in the next one.